All the hits, Z100 in studio with the one and only, everyone says with the one and only Napoleon Dynamite. Nobody ever actually says your name. Jon Heder is in the building.
Thank you. You're making me cry.
I feel bad. Everyone calls you Napoleon.
Well, you know what? It's understandable because people nowadays, they drink so much caffeine, their memory is just deteriorating. And I can't blame them for that.
So welcome to the studio. You are in town promoting your new cartoon on Fox, which is awesome. We were when I heard there was going to be a Napoleon Dynamite cartoon, I flipped. And I think that I speak for most people when I say Napoleon is one of those movies where you're flipping around doing nothing on a Saturday afternoon, and it's on Comedy Central probably every other day.
Yeah.
And you just stop what you're doing and you watch it. I've seen that movie, John, about 64 times, but every single time it's on, why do I stop and watch it? What have you done to me? You've made me useless for 2 hours.
It's a new drug. We're trying to make the safe drug. It won't kill you, but it will ruin your life. So there was a question.
There was probably a question. That was more of a hype.
How do I respond to that?
There's really nothing to respond to.
Just a big thank you.
Thanks a lot for wasting my day. God. No, when you guys made this movie, now probably, how long ago was this movie? This was a while ago.
We shot it back in 2003. It came out in 2004. Okay. So it's been a while. It's like 7, almost 8 years since it came out. And it just felt time, I think Fox, who really kind of actually, started the whole process of the animation, of the animated series, they just thought it was time because it was like we gave fans and ourselves a break.
Time to move away from it.
I think everybody felt like, that's why fans always kept asking us, you guys ever going to do a sequel? Are you ever going to do a sequel?
Yeah.
They just felt like you could get more out of that world. And I always felt that same way, but it certainly wasn't my call.
When you guys were first filming this movie, it was just a little low-budget, fun thing for you to do. There's no way anybody on that movie set had any idea what this would become.
No, we like to say that we were the original fans. It was really cool because we were the only ones who knew about it. We'd finish shooting a scene and then we immediately start quoting that scene.
Yeah.
I remember so well, like after, Aaron Rule, who plays Kip, does your mom goes to college. Like we were just
I've said that to about 1,000 people in my life.
We were quoting it like on the movie set. But the thing is, we just didn't know if anybody was ever going to see the film because it was an independent film. We didn't have any distribution. We had nothing. So we're like, well, as long as I get it burnt on DVD and I can show
as long as you have a copy that you can play for yourself.
Like, check it out, you guys.
How long did it take you? I would imagine it was probably not something that took that long to film.
No, we shot it in 22 days for a film that's really fast.
Now, the city, I read somewhere that the city you guys shot in, I can't remember, somewhere in Utah, I can't remember what city it is.
Preston, Idaho.
Oh, Idaho, okay.
Yeah.
It's a Napoleon Dynamite Day where you guys all go back every year to that city, right?
No. Well, I think they only did it for a couple of years, and it was just it was a Napoleon Dynamite festival, and they would have. I haven't been back since shooting the movie. I don't think they could afford to.
Oh, so they didn't bring you back.
My appearance fee was look, it was my fault. I was new in the business. I set my appearance fee at $500,000.
Oh, that's
appearance. Nobody wanted to pay that.
That's a little much.
Crazy.
That's a little much because that's like 9 times how much it costs to make the entire film.
Exactly, but it was worth it, wasn't it? But apparently Preston doesn't think so. But yes, they did have a day where you could play what's it? Not volleyball, tetherball.
Yeah.
And do tater tot eating contests and all kinds of take pictures with the llama.
Yeah.
And, they did all kinds of stuff. It was cool. I really want to go back there and check it out.
So are you a Jay-Z and Kanye West fan? And are you getting paid for that?
I did get paid for that.
Okay, good. I was very concerned about you when I heard your
joke.
voice.
I was paid more for that than for the
movie?
Yeah.
I love that. That is great.
Yeah.
That is great.
So, it's all coming full circle, I suppose you could say.
That's awesome. So, there were rumors, I had heard rumors, even as far long ago as like a year or two ago, about a sequel. Was there any talk about making a sequel instead of because a lot of times a sequel will become a series.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, should we do a sequel? Should we do a series? Should we do a cartoon?
I think it was just Fox, I think, wanted to do a sequel. They were a game for it, but when we made it, we weren't business people at all. We weren't thinking, all right, so how do we set this up for a sequel? We just weren't thinking. It took us so much by surprise that it was a mix of, we were busy doing other stuff, and it was also kind of like, part of the charm of the film was because it was shot for so little money, and it was no namers. That was part of why I think people liked it. They could relate to it. It felt real.
Yeah.
And to go back and do a sequel with probably a much bigger budget, and being able to do whatever, having no restrictions, I think that actually would have
not going to be able to recapture that magic.
I don't know. I think something might have been lost.
Sure.
And, so I think Fox kind of knew that, and so when they brought it, what about an animated cartoon series? That you don't have to do another movie. You don't have to recapture it, and yet getting the entire original cast, the same writer and director who oversee it, it really is. It's like the better version, I think, of the sequel.
And by the way, I say the word quesadilla wrong now because of your movie.
Oh, yeah. It's pronounced quesadilla.
Yeah, get it right. Napoleon Dynamite.
Grandma says it best.
So different cartoons are, I've talked to different people on cartoons, and some of them are, you're sitting by yourself in a booth and you do your lines, and then someone else does their lines 2 days later. How do you guys do it? Do you guys do it together? Do you guys do it separately?
No, we do it more the traditional way. When we started out, for the first episode, just so we could get the timing and prove to the studio that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
When we first did it, I remember Aaron was right next to me. Kip and Pedro, they were we were all in the same room and we were doing it off of each other. But now, when we go now, it's more like a typical. You go in, you just do your lines. It's just you alone. It's just
Is it harder to act that way when you don't have people to play off of? Are you hearing what they've recorded in your ears, or you're just doing your lines?
You're just reading the script and going from there. And I think it helps that we just know the character so well. I know exactly what Pedro sounds like, and exactly what Kip and Deb will sound like. So. And that's also kind of, sometimes it won't work. Sometimes you record it and then the timing is a little off, or it's not the same feeling. So you'll come back. But again, that's the beauty of recording. You just come back another day.
Yeah.
All right, just jump in here, record a few lines. All right, peace out.
And you don't have to do makeup. You don't have to do costumes.
Yeah. Except when they want to do publicity and they're like, all right, you're going to come in, but got to get makeup up because we're going to videotape the whole thing.
Oh, so they tape some because I've seen,
they want to put it in the special features.
Well, they also wanted to prove. I saw the promo that ran forever on Fox with you guys, when they were kind of emphasizing that everybody in the original cast was back into this thing, and they showed you guys. So they don't normally every day film this thing.
No, they don't. But they like to get there behind the scenes. It's what's the point?
They film my radio show every day, 4 hours a day.
I'm supposed to be picking my nose.
These cameras are always in here. It's awkward when I'm not interviewing anybody because they just sit there.
It's just on you.
One of my favorite episodes of Punk'd was when you and your brother were caught at the how can we put this to
brothel?
At the brothel. That's a good
brothel.
You're
which was supposed to be just a
dude. I'm just a married man. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I was rolling around laughing. Now, you can honestly tell me you had nothing. You knew nothing about that.
I really had no idea. I truly was tricked. Is that what they say? I'm not going to give it. No.
Yeah, I tricked you.
No, my brother was in on it, of course, and I really had no idea. I mean, in that situation, and honestly, I remember thinking like a month or so before that happened, I was still brand new to Hollywood, and I remember thinking that's right when Punk'd was really popular show. I was like, do I need to worry about this? And I honestly thought, no, I don't, because I'm not big. I'm not like a star or anything like that. I mean, there's no way they would do that. And
hey, if they got Jack Osborne,
I mean, well, they're clearly scraping the bottom of the bucket when they came to me. But so that's why, I mean, it was a little bit of that, and I just didn't think, and I had never been in a situation like that, so I was really out of my
you seemed very nervous. You turned,
like, oh crap, and I all I remember in my head was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? I was like pumping myself out. What's the worst that can happen? I'll spend one night in jail, and my agents, the only legal kind of representation.
They're kind of lawyers.
They're kind of lawyers. They can come in and say, look, we can vouch for this guy. He's a good guy. He didn't do anything. I was like, I know I didn't do anything. My conscience is clear.
Yeah.
But
were you more worried about your public perception or what your wife was going to think?
I wasn't worried. No, I wasn't worried my wife was gonna. I mean, she would trust me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really worried about. I guess the public thing it would have been annoying, but it would have. Smoothed out. It was more like I was really worried because they told me like we have video footage of your brother. Back there with one of the girls. I was just like, Dan, come on, man. You were raised better than this, man. You're a married man. Like, what are you gonna go break Sarah's heart?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I couldn't believe it. It was like that. It was a mind trip.
Yeah.
So thank you for Punked for just ruining my life.
You ruined his life. For a moment.
And then it was all good. We were all
being awesome. Cartoonized. Becoming animatized. Must have been a weird thing. Was what was your reaction the first time you saw yourself as a cartoon?
That was pretty rad. I mean, it was when the movie came out, there was a lot of I got a lot of emails and online pictures of people's renditions. Like I saw a lot of cartoon versions.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like just seeing another one of those. But at first I was a little bit more judgmental and more critical, just like, oh, they could have done this.
Yeah.
And I grew up drawing, so I was like, part of me was like, I would have drawn it this way.
So those ligers are all you?
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, Jon, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Sunday nights on Fox, part of Animation Domination. You guys, you're in some good company with Family Guy and Simpsons.
It was awesome.
It's a nice lead-in, man.
It is.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. And you're from Salem, Oregon.
That's right.
So got to represent for the hometown. I love it.
Yeah.
It's all the hits, Z100.